So this week's topic is homophobia and transphobia, and we've had Ashton's video and his video on transphobia, and today's going to be my video also on transphobia because, yeah, it applies to me. Um, I don't have a whole lot to say about it because I only just recently came out, and since then I've really much spent most of my time hiding in this room, this apartment. I mean, I do go out from time to time, and I do get a lot of strange looks sometimes, but I'm used to that. I mean, when I was in high school, I dressed in, the big baggy trip pants, and I wore super baggy t-shirts because it let me hide pretty much who I was most of the time. And I've had long hair. I still have long hair. I had it dyed purple. It turned pink. It was amazing. But like, because I grew up in North Carolina, I grew up in Bible Belt state, and so people who were really out of the norms got stared at a lot, especially when I was in high school, because they weren't very common like they were now. I graduated like right before the scene kids and the emo kids and all that big thing started up. I graduated before that, so it wasn't a very out there thing. And I have this really long trench coat that had a high collar that I love to wear. I have it not here, but when I would wear that and I would go to the mall, I would have people go out of their way to avoid me, and my mother loved it. I would be walking through Walmart, and I would have like parents pull their children under buggies and then go down aisles because they were scared to death of me. So the homophobia and transphobia doesn't bother me because I've always had that sort of aura of fear around me. I'm used to it. I'm used to people running. I'm like, oh god, it's goth kid. I'm just like, if you sit and talk to me, I'm the friendliest person in the world. I'll go out and I'll fix your computer. I'll help you do this. I mean, I came home one day. Yeah, I was dressed in chains, but I saw two Asian people trying. There were little people trying to take and cover their Jeep because it was about to start raining down here in Florida. And I ran up to them and I helped them get that cover on because it just started raining, and they were shocked that I was being nice because I was dressed as someone who looked like they were to be pissed off at the world. It's so for transphobia for me, it's just I think it's stupid. I think homophobia is stupid. I don't know how much to talk about it. I mean, I do know homophobia. I can talk about that more than I can transphobia. And I've had friends who are homophobic. That this one of my friends went to Hot Topic with me, and apparently because he dressed preppy, it was very uncommon for a lot of people at Hot Topic at that time. So he did get a lot of looks, but he was determined that someone in there was gay and wanted his body. And I'm just like, you're paranoid, and this is fun because this guy's a middle linebacker, and I'm a skinny little kid. So yeah, seeing someone who's like bigger than me cower is pretty funny. So I I kind of enjoy transphobia. I mean, I don't like the aggressiveness that people do, but the fear, it can be pretty funny. I guess I'm kind of sadistic in that kind of way, but it's it's it still kind of hurts though. I mean, I want to be accepted, and I found some interesting little tidbits that about factuals. I've been doing research on some of this because I had no idea how to approach this topic today. I guess I'm probably overanalyzing it. I guess that would be me. I mean, I started college this past week, and so I'm kind of thinking through everything a little too much. I'm supposed to be enjoying this. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be helpful, and I am making it into an assignment. Smart me. But I want to be accepted. I mean, I don't want to worry about people going and complaining because I used the wrong bathroom. If right now I just completely avoid public restrooms altogether. I don't want to I'm afraid I'm gonna go to jail because, yeah, I don't want to go to jail. I don't. So I if there's a public restroom, if I have a jacket or something, so I can keep hidden, so they don't have to look at my face or my body and can't tell. I'll go to whichever one I feel more comfortable with. Like right now as I am, if I had a jacket, I would probably use a woman's restroom. But depending on, see, because I don't have real ones right now. If depending on how big I decided to wear that day, if I had something to cover, I would probably, and if I'm wearing a skirt or not, I would decide probably use a male's one. As much as I know I want to use the woman's restroom, I know that legally I am male, and so legally I am bound to this bathroom. I do know also that people aren't kind to it. I have a friend who, because she's a trans girl but hasn't started HRT, but has been using the women's restroom for quite a while, and nobody complained until one girl complained. She's now barred from using both the male or female bathrooms, which is ridiculous. She can only use the restroom and the health room, or I think is what it is, or something like that. But that's just ridiculous. That you need to make. I think that people should make accommodations for someone who is transgender. I mean, they have no problems calling her by her preferred name. They have no problems calling her a her and not a he. But when she decides to use the restroom, she gets sort of, singled out, and that's not right. I don't like it. I think that more people should notice the transgenders and just get over their transphobia and their homophobia, because 90% of the time, gays, lesbians, bisexuals, and transgenders aren't out to get people. We're not going to destroy marriage. We're not trying to turn your babies gay. We're not trying to, take over the world. We're not doing any of that. All we're doing is living our lives the way we want to live our lives. You live your lives the way you want to. We live ours the way after. You don't need to live in fear of us. I mean, we're not scary. There's nothing scary about us. I mean, this is pretty much the 60s back all over again. The only difference is it doesn't affect a race. It now affects a orientation, which is a lot broader because it spans over many genders and many races, which is terrible. I mean, most of you studied in middle and high school segregation. This is exactly what's going on now. Segregation between instead of it being blacks and whites, it's anyone who is not straight. They get downed. They become a lesser of a human. They lose their rights. I mean, if you've watched recently North Carolina, I do watch the news there. I'm not in there anymore, but it's my home state. They amended their constitution to only allows marriage couples as a male and a female. And what's worse about it is written so loosely, it affects straight couples that are not married. That's horrible. They should not have such a loosely written constitution like that, for one. Secondly, it should have never been amended in the first place. I mean, I understand that, it's a really religious state, and that's going to happen, but it doesn't make it any less ridiculous. I'm very upset with it right now. I'm very glad that I'm not in North Carolina at the time, though. I have some friends who are though, and I wish I had money to say, hey, come move down here with me, live with me. That state's horrible. More so, let's get out of the country. I'm leaving this country as soon as I get the chance, because it's getting ridiculous. Not to mention, I know there's transphobia and homophobia all over the world, but I feel like, in my opinion, it gets really ridiculed here in the U.S. especially in Bible Belt states and any state that hasn't legalized marriage, which is most of them. it's but it's getting better. Um, right now, people who are, I believe it's 30 and under, most of them don't care about um marriage being solely man and woman. They don't care. They just want to say, hey, marry who you want to marry. And in 10 years, those people who are 30 are going to go into the 40 bracket. I'm 20. I'm going to go into that 30 bracket. And then our kids will be turning into the teens, and they're going to start a new bracket. So in like 20 years, 30 years, I know it's a long time. This is going to be over because all the people who are here today in 20 years are going to be the ages of the president, and all of Congress, and they're not going to care, and they're going to be the people who are going to really change the world if it lasts that long. I'm pretty sure we're going to get all our rights in less than 20 years, but I can guarantee you that in 20 years or less we will have them, simply due to the old, for lack of a better word, fuckwads are going to be dead or out of office, because they're going to have run their course, and people are going to either going to leave, or people are going to say, hey, go away, we want someone who's smarter. And that'll help clear up all the transphobia and homophobia, and eventually it'll die down to the avid Christians who misinterpret the Bible. I mean, I can point out over 400 inconsistencies in the Bible. It's ridiculous. But I did forget something. I have 2 links that I'm going to be putting in here for transgenders. I have the Couch Network, I think it's what it's called. It's a network on Tumblr that is due to giving transgender folks couches to crash on, places to stay, because I do know that not all of us get support. Ashton doesn't have a whole lot of support. I don't haven't told my parents yet. I'm scared to death that I'm going to lose support from them, and so I haven't told them yet. But I also have it's the trans clothing exchange. I know for some people like myself, it's very difficult to get clothing for your identified gender, and especially if you have no job, you have no money, you have no way to, buy extra clothes, especially when it's all going towards your rent and food. And this is a way for you to both give and get. I know as soon as I can afford some posting, I'm going to give away some of my male clothes that I don't want up to this thing, which is going to be great for this project. And I'm going to have links both in the description for both. I would love for y'all to check them out, because this is a really nice thing to have, and it's going to really help out. But this will be it for me. I'll see you next week.